So let us catch up where we left. So we started with great Aitareya Upanishad. And I just overview very fast before I go into the next chapter. So we saw two creations. First, at the beginning, Atman was alone, all this. And then he thought, let me create the locations, the worlds, loka nos rejayati. So he created the locations. He split, as in the Rig Veda they would say, they split this, and the upper part became the luminous ocean, and the lower part became the dark ocean. So there were two oceans. One is the supreme ocean, superconscient ocean, transcendental ocean, and this ocean below, subconscient or inconscient ocean. And in between, there were two um, categories which are from Mari, root Mari to die. One is Marichi, which represents the sky from above, the upper ocean. Now there is Mara, which represents the surface of the subconscious ocean. So, and in between, that is how it was created. So Marichi became Antariksham, and Prithvi, Maro, and Adastat, Apah. So once these locations were defined, so to say, the separation from light to darkness was created, the gap was made in between, or the transition from light to darkness was defined. Then he thought, I need the dwellers, or the protectors of these locations, those who would be there. So he pulled out of the subconscious waters Purusha and heated it up with his concentration. And the mouth of Purusha broke forth like egg cracks in the same way. And from his mouth, speech, from speech, fire came into being. His nostrils broke forth, from his nostrils, uh, breath, um, or prana. And from prana vayu, wind came into being, or air. His eyes broke forth, from his eyes, sight, vision. From the vision, aditya, light was born. His ears broke forth, from his ears, um, the hearing, and from the hearing, dishaha, the space, came into being. So one by one, all this, his skin broke forth, from his skin the hair, and from the hair the greenery came into existence. His heart broke forth, from the heart a mind, and from the mind moon came into being. His navel broke forth, from the navel apana, breathing out, and from apana mrityu, death came into being. Here death comes. His procreatory organ broke forth, and from there the seed, and from the seed lower waters of inconscient. And that is maybe the connection between Purusha and being embodied here again and again in this lower hemisphere. We spoke about all this. I'm just reminding you what we did. So once these devatas, ta eta devatas reshta, when they were created, asmin mahati arnave prapatan, they fell into this great wave of inconscient ocean. Tam ashanaya pipasabhyam anvavarjat, and were tormented by hunger and thirst. They didn't have the abiding place there. And so they cried to him, create for us a place where we can abide, live, stay, in which we will partake of food. Food means of enjoyment, anyway. And he brought them the cow, and they said, "It is not enough for us." He brought them a horse. They said, "It's not enough for us." He brought them Purusha, man. And they said, "It is well done, perfectly done. Sukritam bhateti. Purushovava sukritam," because Purusha is indeed well done. Ta abravit, and he told them, "I yathayatanam pravishateti," enter him as your abiding place, as your habitation. Agnirvag bhutva mukham pravishat. And Agni became speech and entered his mouth. Vayu prano bhutva nasike pravishat. The wind became a breath and entered his nostrils. Aditya Chakshur Bhutva, the sun became the sight and entered his eyes. The space became the hearing and entered his ears. So this is a reassembling of the individual Purusha. So all these universal consciousness faculties were reassembled within the individual frame. Yeah, one by one, they entered and composed an individual being. Tam Ashanaya Pipase Abrutam, and they, the hunger and thirst, spoke to him. Avabhyam Abhiprajanihiti, and for us you also create the place. Te abravit, and he spoke to them. Etasva etasu eva vam devatasu abhajam abhajami etasu bhaginyau karomi. So I make you the partakers of enjoyment in these devatas. Tasmad yasyai cha devataya grihyate havir grihyate. Therefore, if for any of these devatas, of all these faculties, the offering is made, bhaginyavevasyam ashanaya pipase bhavatach, the hunger and thirst are the part of that, of those enjoyers within the faculties. Now, this is a profound intuition of how our ego sense was built. It is built through the egoistic perception or lack or want of hunger and thirst within the faculties, within our sight, within our hearing, within our word, within. We are constantly hungry. These faculties or these indriyas, our senses, are hungry for enjoyment. They are hunting the enjoyment in the world. That's what we do. We are preoccupied constantly with only one thing: how to feed our senses. We want beautiful things around us. We want harmony. We want meaning. We want this. We want, and it is never enough. We want more and more and more. We want to feed these indriyas, and that is their inbuilt in them hunger and thirst from the inconscient ocean. They entered them. Otherwise, they would never be hungry. They represent universal Purusha. They have their source, their origin. But now they got this mixture into them from the subconscious uh, ocean. Lack of being and bliss. Now, we are coming to chapter number 3, which we didn't read yet. Ikshata, and he thought, Imenu lokaha, these are the locations. Lokapalascha, and these are the protectors of locations, or the dwellers within them, those who filled the locations. Annam ebhyach srajayiti, may I create for them food. Now he wants to create for them an enjoyment here. Sopo bhyatabyo bhitaptabyo murti rajayata. Yavaisa murti rajayatan nambaitat. And he I will translate from the text. He heated up again the lower waters as he did when he got the Purusha out of them. The lower waters he heated up, and Tabhyach, and from those waters heated up Murtir Ajayata. The form was born, Murti. Yavaisa Murti, and that which is the form, was born, Annam Vaitat. That is indeed the food. The form is the food. Now, this is an important and simple statement which is never registered by us because we don't understand the food is the form. Basically, any formation is a kind of a location of some energy. It's a annam literally means eatable, from root ad, participle perfect passive voice. That which is eatable. When we eat the food, what do we eat? We eat the energy. We don't eat the matter. The form is the container of energy. And that becomes the food because the energy is the food and the container is to be destroyed. The form is to be destroyed for the energy to be released. That's why we eat. That's why we destroy the form. Though maybe it is interesting to mention that there is another way to get energy out of the form. And Mother describes somebody, Alma, who was the partner of Max Theon, whom she visited in Algeria. And Alma had great occult powers. She was an occultist. And she was taking an apple or orange and putting it on her plexus solaris, on her stomach, lying down, and that apple or orange was disappearing there, becoming totally without energy. She was taking energy out of it directly without eating it. This is something unique. Maybe in the future we will have this kind of nourishment. Some people speak about nourishment directly from the sun without the food. It's still a little too early for us, but it will come one day that we will nourish ourselves without destroying the form, but not yet. So the form is the container of the energy. Otherwise, energy will be everywhere. Without container, the universe will be the container of energy. So if you can tap into the universal energy without container, you can nourish yourself, definitely. Yes. Tadetat srishtam parangatya jighansa tadvacha jigrikshatan dvacha grahitum yadhainad vacha grahashyat abhivyahritya haivannamatrapsyat. Very difficult sentence because of many conditional uh, terms here, but quite interesting. Food being created fled back from his grasp. It wanted to survive. The form wanted to survive. This is our survival instinct. We want to preserve the form, the container of energy. We all are the form, and we want this form to endure, to survive. So it wanted to fled away. It tried to escape. Tadvajha by speech he would have seized it. So he wanted, and he by speech would have seized it, but he could not seize it by speech. Had he seized it by speech, then would a man be satisfied by merely speaking about food? Which is sometimes the case. People speak how good food was and they feel already saliva coming into their mouth. Mm, but still, it's not yet satisfying totally. That saliva is not the food per se. So I believe, yeah, Tadvacha Grikshat, he wanted to catch it by speech. Tanashaknot and couldn't Vacha Grahitam catch it by speech. Sayadhainat Vacha Grahishyat, because if he would catch it by speech, Abhivyaharitya, just speaking, Haivannamatrapsyat, he would already enjoy or would be satisfied by food. Tat pranena jigrikshat. He wanted to catch it by, or to seize it by breathing in. Take an apple and breathe in. Tanashak not pranena grahitum, and couldn't catch it by prana, by breathing in. Sayadhanat pranena grahishyat abhipranya haivannamatrapsyat. If he would catch it by breathing in, then by breathing in he would be already satisfied by food. Tachakshusha jigrikshat, and he wanted to catch it by sight, by seeing. Tanashaknot chakshusha grahitum, sayadhainat chakshusha graheshyat drishtva haivannamatrapsyat. It's for me quite difficult from English to Sanskrit. Direct jump. I become very English in Sanskrit and very Sanskrit in English because they're both going together. So he wanted to catch it by sight, by viewing. Look how beautiful the cake is. It is here the color, here this, here that. He couldn't catch it by sight because if he could, he would be already enjoying the food. Tan tat shrotrena jigrikshat tanashak no shrotrena grahitum sayadhaina shrotrena grahishyat shrutva haivannamatrapsyat. He tried to catch it by hearing about it and couldn't catch it by hearing because if he could, then by hearing about food he would be already satisfied. Listen, I had such a nice cake. Yeah. Can you be already fed by it? Somehow cake or ice cream comes into my mind immediately. First thing, first option. Totally prohibited in my life. Yeah. Okay, next. Tattvachagrikshat. He tried to catch it by touch, by the skin, jumping into the cake. But he couldn't catch it by skin because touching by skin, if he would catch it, he would be already satisfied. Tan manasajagrikshat. He tried to catch it by mind. Tan noshak not manasagrahitam, but he couldn't do it because if he would do it, catch it by mind, then by thinking about food, he would be already satisfied. That Shishnena jagrikshat. He even tried to catch it by procreatory organ. Tanashak not Shishnena grahitam, but couldn't catch it by Sayadhaina Shishnena grahishyat, because if he could catch it by procreatory organ, Visrijya, by procreating, he would be already satisfied with the food. Now, by what did he catch the food? This is an important message. Tadapanena jagrikshat. He caught it. He tried to catch it by apana, by breathing out. Tadavayat, and he got it. Saishannasya graho yadvayurannayurvaisha yadvayu. Lo, this is the Caesar of food, which is also breath of the life. And therefore all that is breath has its life in food. Now, it's more complex statement here. Sa esha annasya grahak. He, that is indeed the catcher of food. Yadvayuh, that of which the wind or the air, anayurva, or the life force within the food is vayu, is that prana is within the form which he could take out only by apana. And this is quite interesting. When we breathe in and we breathe out. When we breathe out, what happens? Actually, we are charging our blood with with yeah, with food. Blood is being in how to say, in enhanced by the energy. This is something how we are actually, every time we are breathing out, we are incorporating energy into the system. And as we remember, his navel broke forth from the navel apana, and from apana mrityu, death. It is by death that he could catch the form. There was no other way to catch the form. By killing the form, he could get the prana inbuilt in it. Hmm. There is no other way to enjoy the food. You can't enjoy the food and leave the form. The form will be destroyed.
It's just like a dream, Vladimir. You have a dream, you have a dream, you have a dream, and when it becomes reality, the reality has happened, but then the dream is no more, right? Because you kind of killed the dream to make it real. But when it is real reality, then there is no dream. But it is the same thing, right?
It's an interesting association. Never would go in that direction. But yes, in the dream state, you're kind of pushing us into the dream state. And in that state, yes, if you have both awareness of the dream and this state,
No, I'm not
then
talking about night dream. I'm talking about the dreams we see for our life. Like,
yeah,
you want to buy a flower, you want to have a garden. You all the time think about have a garden. It's a dream, kind of a. It's a form which is not in another. But when the real garden happens, this form is broken. Only then that, because if this form would still stay, then that dream would never really manifest. I mean,
yeah, change of the form from the dream form to the real
had to be
form. And
destroyed, like you said, it has to destroy, only then it is completely taken. No?
right, the energy is embodied. Yes, that energy of the dream embodied itself into the real, so it got real, so it got lost. That formation of the dream got lost. Or this reality got, your garden was destroyed, and then the dream started to live. I want the garden again. So, yes, the form releases, the destruction of the form releases the energy into another form. Absolutely. The energy survives. It takes another embodiment. It continues to survive. Only the form was destroyed. This form, but it took another form and took another form, and the forms are constantly changing. Constantly. Even within this one particular form of the embodiment, the form of myself is constantly changing. I am never the same. And at the same
Which is
time, I'm
the Einstein, the energy and the matter equation. It's always, the in physics, energy is only changing forms. It can never be created or destroyed. It's actually that. It's
yeah,
just switching.
preservation of energy, which is the most mysterious law of physics. Preservation of energy, you don't lose the energy. How come we all think that we lose the energy? No, it just goes into another form. The fire is burning, takes a lot of heat. Where that heat goes, it goes into the air. Where that heat's from the air, it goes somewhere else. It forms something else. It is there, it doesn't disappear. It just passes on the energy constantly. And this is the way how we catch the food. We destroy the form and we release the energy. Saikshata. Katham nvidam madrite syaditi. Saikshata katarena prapadyayiti. Saikshata, he thinks a lot now. Yadi vachabhivyahritam, yadi pranenabhipranitam, yadi chakshusha drishtam, yadi shrotrena shrutam, yadi tvacha sprishtam, yadi manasadhyatam, yadi apanena bhyapanitam, yadi shishnena visrishtam athakoham iti. And he thought, how could I, or he thought, without me madrete, without me, how should all this be without me? Because it is all, how to say, all was reassembled into the individual form, and now he looks at it from above, as it were. How could this be without me? Saikshata Katarena Prapadyaiti. And he thought, by what way shall I enter this thing? Saikshata Yadivacha Bhivyaharitam. And he thought, if by the speech it is spoken, Yadi pranena bhipranitam, if by the breath it is breathed, yadi chakshusha drishtam, if it is seen by the sight, yadi shrotrena shrutam, if it is heard by hearing, yadi tvacha sprishtam, if it is touched by the skin, yadi manasadhyatam, if it is thought by the mind, Yadyapanena abhyapanitav, if it is breathed out by breathing out. Yadishishnana visrishtam, if it is procreated by the procreatory organ. Athakohamiti, who am I then? This is the profound question of who am I of Ramana Maharshi. If it is so, if it is seen by the sight, if it is heard by hearing, if it is touched by the skin, thought by the mind, spoken by speech, who am I then? It's a puzzle for him now. Where am I in all this? Sa etam eva simanam vidaryai etaya dvara prapadyata. Saisha vidrirti nama dvastadetam nandanam. Tasya traya avasathasтрaya swapnaha. Ayam avasatho yamavasatho yamavasatha iti. And it was this bound that he cleft. It was by this door that he entered in. 'Tis this that is called the gate of the cleaving. Seaman, Seaman on the head, over the head. It is through this door that he cleft it and came in.
I'm sorry, being a non-English speaker, what does cleaving mean?
Cleave is to split, to crack. He cracked here from above, from this entry from above the head, where we have this soft place where the child is born, very soft here. You can touch, it's open in the skull, that place where we feel the presence or pressure from above. If you concentrate over the head, you will feel the presence there. Sahasrara chakra, when it opens, it is exactly there. It is through that he entered, through that door. Mm. It is that is called the gate of the cleaving, or the gate of the breaking through. This is the door of his coming, and he is the place. He is the place of his delight. This is the place from which actually the whole Vedic vision, the whole Vedic knowledge of the Rig Veda is the descent of the power of the Mahakundalini from above into our system. All the And this is the place where the connection of our system, of our Kundalini Shakti, when it rises, is joining Sadashiva. So, and then that is the place. And he has three mansions in his city, three dreams wherein he dwells, and of which In turn, he says, Lo, this is my habitation, this is my habitation, this is my habitation. Now we have Manomaya Atma or Purusha, Pranamaya Atma, and Annamaya Atma. These two, these three, mental, vital, and physical self, and that is Atman present within us, which is supporting these selves from within. Sajato bhutanya bhivyaikyat kimihanyam vavadishaditi saetameva purusham brahmatatamama pashyat idam adarshamiti. Now, when he was born, he thought and spoke only of nature, of her creations. In this world of matter, of what else should he speak or reason? Thereafter he beheld that being who is the Brahman and the last essence. He said, Yea, this is he, verily, I have beheld him. I have seen him. Sajata, he being born, Bhutani Abhivyaikyat, he thought and spoke of Bhutani, of becomings. And Sri Aurobindo adds only of becomings. Now imagine that when he comes into this existence, into this body, of course he's totally interested only in what is happening here in the body, in the nature. He's not interested to know what is happening within him because he's just born here. He comes into this world and he's interested in the nature around him. And everything what is happening is a great adventure for him. What else would you like to speak? Only of this, of the embodiment. That's why he's moved in this manifested state and interested only in nature. That's how he, how to say, gave himself to Prakriti and forgot about himself totally. Saetameva Purusham Brahmatatamava Pashyat, and he saw this Purusha as spread spirit, or he beheld that being who is the Brahman and the last essence. He started to see the presence of Purusha or himself in every movement of Prakriti. Idam adarsamiti, I saw this. Tasmadidandro name dandro havai nama tamidandram santamindra ityachakshate parokshena paroksha priya ivahidevaha paroksha priya ivahidevaha. Therefore he is idandra, idandra literally idamdra, splitting this. Idandra is the true name of him, and the splitting this is the true name of him. But though he is Idandra, they call him Indra because the veil of the unrevelation. For the gods love the veil of the unrevelation. Yea, verily, the gods love the unrevelation. The gods love the secrecy. That's why they call him Indra. We know him as Indra, the lord of the intuition of the divine mind. But he is the Idandra, the lord of creation. He split this. He introduced Atman into this being. And this is the end of the chapter. And these three parts of part one, or three chapters, constitute the most secret knowledge according to Shankaracharya, and it is revealed only to the initiated. Now, we just went through it once.
Vladimir, I was going to request you to kind of recapitulate it, because from where when they came forward, and then the food and thirst came forward, and then it had its own enjoyment, and then the form, and then the form destroying itself to get the energy, and then come. I mean, can you just make a circle once more
Yeah,
of the secret knowledge, please? We love the secret knowledge.
right, right. The gods love secret knowledge. Yes, that's why they keep us unaware of it. Yes. If they will permit us, maybe to come closer, the text is there at least, so we can hope for knowing more. Yes. It requires a contemplation. You know. It requires thinking about the details, and they will come back and again and again and again until it is becoming clear and clear and again unclear and again. So, for some time, yes, I can say that I was having many aha moments from this text, many in my life, and I used them for understanding, for kind of even creation of the integral paradigm of knowledge. This is quintessential knowledge here in the Aitareya. Aitareya presents to us the sacrifice of the Purusha. That's the sacrifice of Purusha, which we have in the Rig Veda. It's another view on this sacrifice. Purusha was created by the self, by Atman, which didn't have faculties. Purusha represents Atman in the manifestation because Purusha has faculties. He can speak, see, think, hear, touch. So there are these faculties which form the the being here in the individual creation. So Purusha, universal Purusha with universal faculties, becomes the foundation or the origin for the individual Purusha. For us, we are all separately having all our faculties. Everybody has seeing, hearing, speaking, thinking. We can communicate, but these faculties are faculties of universal Purusha. We are sharing them. It's not my seeing, it is his seeing. It's not my hearing, it is his hearing. Only I think it is mine. I kind of consider it to be mine, but it is not mine. These faculties are not my faculties. It is his. And that is how it was formed. Once that formation got caught into this individual form or framework, then it looked for some kind of sustenance in this world because it could not sustain itself in this formation. It needs energy, flow of energy. It needs to destroy another form to sustain its form for a while and being destroyed. So this fluctuation of the form was created, and it was caught by the faculty of breathing out or appropriation of energies. What we do, we appropriate energy from any form by breathing out. When we breathe out, the energy comes into our system and sustains it for a while. Uh, and This is how the creation was made. But once that was established, he had to support it from behind, so to say. And that's what Atman is. There is Manomaya, Mahatma. We will speak about these Manomaya Purusha, Pranamaya Purusha, and Annamaya Purusha, or Atman. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, we will deal with these five Purushas, or five Atmans. So he entered and became the solid background for them. By the way, Mother says that you can reach and realize unborn self directly from the mental activity, from the vital consciousness, and even from the physical consciousness. You can go straight into the realization of the unborn self, which is quite a thing to think of. Yeah? We think that we have to rise in consciousness to achieve, to realize the high unborn self. No, you can go through the physical directly from the physical consciousness into the unborn self. It is there behind us. And this is, of course, the secret knowledge of the Aitareya. So there
And
were
what
two.
about that?
Yeah.
Sorry, that part when you said, and then when everything is done and you find the form, and then you understand it's through Apana, then he asked, "Who am I?" So first he created, and then he asked, and then to find out, then he entered. I mean,
Yeah, who am I? It's an interesting question because it is very psychological for us to see that how easily we are identified with our activities of consciousness. Yeah, because if it is seen by the sight, what it does to us, it tells us something very important, that we are not really the sight. It is seen by the sight, yes. It is heard by the hearing. But who am I actually? And then you have this kind of indication of that there is someone behind these faculties who is seeing, hearing, speaking, and so on. Who is the one who is doing it? If it is seen by the sight, heard by the hearing, who is the one who is behind it? How they can sustain without me? They can't. They can't sustain without him. This is not possible. So they are instrumental only. Purusha is instrumental. I always wondered, how come that Purusha, who is the unborn self in the post-Vedic literature, in the Veda was sacrificed? You never asked this question yourself? Purusha was sacrificed. What does it really mean?
you tell Vladimir.
Well, that means that he was created for the sake of manifestation of the Spirit. That is the sacrifice. Manifestation is the sacrifice, constant flux of form, of energy from form to form. That is the sacrifice.
Well, it could be
He,
an experiment,
yeah,
not a sacrifice.
experiment. Yeah, okay, call it experiment. I don't know. That's a nice word. Experiment or sacrifice. Yeah.
Because if it is sacrifice, then how would we experience all of this? It is an experiment, so we still have hope. One day it will enter from our, we will completely
It is
feel it.
already here. It is already here. It is totally here in the physical, vital, and mental being behind it. Only we don't we have to repeat this opening of the Sahasrara and allow it to come awareness of it from above, to ignite all these beings which are behind, yeah, and then we will have it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That only then we can experience. If
Yeah,
he wasn't there, how would we experience?
right,
If
he
we
is
didn't
there.
ask who am I, how would we reach a place where we ask every day, who am I, who am I, who am I? This banana is going in me and becoming my heart and my head and my hair. But who am I? Right?
You're right. Am I my hair? Am I my hands? Look at your hands. This is your hands. Are you your hands? Now they are walking. They are moving. Really? Are they you? Really? In a
And
way?
hand has the peel of the banana which has gone inside you, so you are breathing out.
Right.
Oh my god, this is such a clown game. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. It is. It is the very, very question. Who am I in all this? If functions are functioning, am I my functionings?
I am still curious about the thirst and the hunger. How did they decide? Okay, we want to come, we want to dwell. Uh, I mean, it's like first you create this, and then you say, oh, then it's like characters. Like there are these goblins who are hanging out, and suddenly they become a circle and say, hey, I'm thirst. Oh, I'm hunger. Oh, I need to experience it. So I go into the faculties, and then the faculties need to see. So there are flowers and fruits and all of that, and then we take their energy to become. I mean, all of it is such a big drama. I mean, can you see? And
It's a
all of
big
that,
drama.
what we're trying to do is just find who we are. I mean, and the thing is, like, I find it really weird. How did they say, okay, first the cow is created, not enough horse is created? Because actually, it is just a way of saying it's there is no real cow, there is no real horse. It's just a way of writing, maybe. I mean, it's just too much. It's just too much. This particular whatever you've taught us today. Sorry to say.
Too much.
It's just too much.
Much, too much. Um, yes. The cow and the horse can be also symbolic words. Cow means the light of knowledge, a horse means the power. And truly speaking, in Vedic, yeah, parlance. So we could see that he brought them the formations of knowledge, and they said it's not enough. We need something solid. We need the body. He brought them the power to embody. They said it's not enough. We want to have the body. Bring us Purusha. Where is the universal Purusha? Here in the body. And then when he formed the Purusha, where all of them can be realized, then they were satisfied. So there is something about formation of the psychic being. The psychic being, who is actually a projection of the unborn self, is nothing but this formation of this Purusha, this framework, where he, through the faculties, could operate. There's more to it than we touched upon. It's only the first introduction to this text. I want you to maybe to contemplate, not to get the answers so much, to get questions rather. Yeah. I will have to sign out for today because I have another thing coming up. Could we do stop for today?
No,
Thank you.
Vladimir, we can't let you go. No.
You see, somebody is calling. I have a.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
See you.
you.
Namaste.
Bye bye.